Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do something a little bit grungy and messy and kind of inspired by a look I would have worn, well, that I still wear now. It's very much inspired by when I first started getting into makeup in the late 90s / early 2000s, and this is very similar to the kind of looks that I would have worn back then. I skipped between very gothic looking makeup, very grungy looking makeup, and then extremely colourful, bright, like 10 eyeshadows on the eye type looking makeup. So this is inspired by one of those more grungy days. So I used just one eyeshadow on the lid, and it is MAC's Blue Brown Pigment, and it is just absolutely stunning. And I tried to mostly use affordable products where I could as well. Anyway guys, if you are interested in seeing how I got this look, then please keep on watching. So first off, I'm going to be filling in my eyebrows, and I'm going to be using my Anastasia Dipbrow in Taupe. So one of the things I wanted to do with this makeup look is I wanted to go back to when I was a teenager and kind of take inspiration from that and use products that would have been not necessarily the actual products themselves, not the brands, but products as in foundations and concealers, and products that would have been available to me then. I'm breaking the rules right now with one of them because Anastasia Dipbrow was definitely not available to me then, nor would I probably have used it then anyway, even if it was. I'm currently growing my eyebrows out. I have been for the last few years, and in the last year I got into rapid brow. That's really helped my brows to grow. I've still got a little way to go, but they are getting there. But when I was a teenager, it was like the late 90s, early 2000s, so that kind of really thin, hardly there brow type thing was in. And even though I didn't actually go by trends, I was so insecure about my brows because they were so big and bushy, and everyone kept telling me I had like Audrey Hepburn style brows, but I really hated them and they made me feel so insecure. So I did kind of pretty much pluck them off into two thin little lines, and then I would fill them in with like a black eyeshadow or a black eyeliner, so they would just be two thick, like thin black harsh lines on my face. I look back at photos now and I just think that was really not a good idea, Tash. So I'm actually trying to grow my eyebrows out. So I'm going to be a bit of a hypocrite here and break my own rules. And I am going to use the Dipbrow pomade. So although the majority of this makeup look is going to be with drugstore products, there are a couple of high-end products I've thrown in there just because I feel like they really suit the kind of look that I'm going for. One of those is going to be my MAC Blue Brown Pigment. It's in this little pot here. And this is such a beautiful pigment. It's so difficult to get them out of these pots though. I really dislike this packaging. So back when I was a teenager, there would have been no way that I would have been able to afford MAC. So I would have gone for like the little Barry M pigments, like the ones that come in the pots like this. I had so many colours in these, pinks, blues, purples, greens, everything. So that's the kind of thing that I would have gone for as a teenager. But they don't have as much choice in the Barry... But unfortunately, they don't seem to have as much choice in the Barry M Dazzle Dust, and I don't know if they're slowly discontinuing them or what's going on with them. And MAC Blue Brown is such a unique, beautiful pigment, so that's what I'm going to go for. Oh really?
It's the makeup.
Why is she coming? That's what she's going to do if she comes in here.
There, dinner.
So I'm just going to apply this pigment with a flat shading brush just to really pack on the colour. And I believe this one is from my Naked 3 palette from Urban Decay. And this is going to be a one shadow look. And that's one of the reasons I chose the MAC Blue Brown pigment. If you haven't seen MAC Blue Brown, then you'll see what I mean in a moment. So one of the things you will see that I'm not using here is a primer for my eyes, because they may have been available on the high-end makeup counters, I'm not sure, but they definitely weren't available in kind of pharmacies, chemist, drugstores, whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to skip that today. But this is a pigment, so it's obviously really pigmented, so it doesn't necessarily need a primer. This is one of the reasons why I love using this for a one shadow look. You get blue and you get green, and then you get that brown colour coming through. And then in a moment when you see when I blend this out, once you start to blend this out, you get that real like brick reddish tone coming through, and it actually looks like you've put a different eyeshadow into the crease. If you can hear a noise in the background, that's a fan. My boyfriend's having a shower, so I'm really sorry if that noise is bugging you. So to blend out that colour in my crease, I'm just going to take a nice clean Real Techniques base shadow brush. Just a great brush for blending. This is another thing that I didn't really have when I was younger, is makeup brushes. I either used my fingers or I used a sponge dip applicator. And then when I first got into using brushes, I realised how life-changing they were, and that's probably why I really hate sponge dip applicators right now. That beautiful earthy red pigment comes through. It's just stunning. I feel like it adds to the grunginess. So I'm going to keep blending, especially up in this inner corner here. I don't want it to touch the bottom of my brow, but I want it to be quite close to it. Because I'm using pigments today, I've decided to do my foundation after my eyes. And don't worry if this looks like a hot mess right now. Once we get foundation and eyeliner and concealer and everything, and things get cleaned up, it's going to look fine. I always find these looks always look like you've been punched in the face at first. And then they eventually come together, so it's all good, she says. I'm going to go back with that flat shading brush, and I'm just going to apply this to my lower lash line. I would usually do this after my concealer, but this pigment is so messy that I don't want to risk doing my foundation and concealer and then having this pigment fall out everywhere, because it will just ruin the rest of my makeup. So I'm going to apply this now and then apply my concealer, and then what I'll do is I'll blend it out and smoke it out a bit more so there's not a harsh line. I look like I've been in a fight. So this isn't quite a drugstore product, but I'm going to use it anyway, and it's the OCC colour pencil, and this is in Tard, I believe. Yes, it's in the colour Tard. I really like using this because it's quite creamy, so it's really easy to blend. And I'm just going to use this in my lower waterline. I'm going to tight line with it. I'm going to drag it down to my lower lash line, and I'm also going to apply it to my upper lash line as well, just to add even more intensity to the look. And eyeliner is the one thing that one of the two things that I couldn't go without. I liked a full coverage matte foundation, and I loved heaps and heaps of eyeliner. I'm just going to hit this roughly on my upper lash line. And this doesn't have to be neat because we're just going to slowly smudge it out. And it's only going to really be there just to intensify the look a little bit more. Then I'm going to take my little Real Techniques accent brush, focus, and I'm just going to start smudging that out. Just to add more intensity to the look. You can see a difference here, so that's one with eyeliner, and then this is the eye without. So it just adds way more intensity and darkness to the look. These are my favourite kind of looks to do though, where they look absolutely horrendous at first and you feel like you probably should go and wash your face off and start again. But then it all comes together in the end. Here's hoping anyway. Okay, so we want to add a ton of mascara, so I'm going for my Max Factor Masterpiece Glamour Extensions. Focus. This is a mascara that I've been loving at the moment. It's been between this and that new Maybelline mascara as well, that you see me use in all of my videos. Lots of very well coated lashes, super black. I really like the brush for this mascara because it really gets into the inner corners of your eyes and grabs those tiny hairs that can be quite difficult to get hold of sometimes. I'm going to apply lots to my bottom lashes as well. And I kind of like squiggling them a bit as well. I don't want them to be perfectly straight. I kind of want them to be a little bit messy. It's not going to matter if you get a little bit of mascara, not like that, but on the eyeshadow, I feel like it's almost going to add to that messiness and that grunginess. You see me looking over here a lot, it's because I've got my big mirror over here standing on an ironing board because I don't actually have a table to place it on. So the ironing board is my prop. So as you can see here with the bottom lashes, as I've clumped a few of them together just to add to that messiness. Okay, so moving on to the face. Firstly, I'm going to remove all of this crazy fallout that's happened here. And you can also use that to neaten up any major mistakes that you may have made, even though you kind of want it to be messy and not too sharp. So when I was a teenager, I used Collection 2000, when they were called Collection 2000. I used their foundations, I can't quite remember which one, it was years ago. I don't have that, so today I'm going with my L'Oreal True Match, because this is great medium to full coverage, and I did like a full coverage look. Now again, when I was a teenager, we didn't have a ton of makeup brushes, we didn't apply, or I certainly didn't apply makeup with a foundation brush. I used my fingers or one of those latex sponge wedges. So that's where I'm going to be a hypocrite again, and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to use my beauty blender. So I feel like I definitely wouldn't have used a foundation brush, so this is almost the closest to one of those latex sponges that I can find. Apart from it's way better, and I know that it's going to apply my foundation nicely. So that's what we're going with. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to start blending out. And I tend to like to avoid around my eye area when I apply foundations. You might have noticed that in a few videos. I don't really like putting way too much product around that area because I just feel like it can cake up really easily, and then it makes you look a lot older than you are as well. So I tend to just like applying concealer and a setting powder to that area. Although today I'm not going to be applying a setting powder because I would never have done that when I was a teenager. Not under my eyes anyway, I would have just applied concealer. Oh baby, do you want to go out? Yeah, add more, add more, add more. Please excuse my cat. I do keep opening the door for her, but she doesn't seem to want to go out. I don't think she knows what she wants, I think she just wants to take over my YouTube channel. So for concealer, I'm cheating once again, and I'm going to use my MAC Pro Longwear concealer because I don't actually have any drugstore concealers. I find them all to be way too dark for me for a start, so oh my goodness. And I would have blended concealer in with my finger when I was younger, but again, I'm breaking my own rules, and I'm going to blend out with my beauty blender. It just helps to remove any excess product as well. So very carefully go towards that last line. And like I say, it doesn't matter that this is going to start to look sharpened up because I'm just going to go back in and blend it all out anyway. So I'm just going to set my foundation into place with the Rimmel Stay Matte powder. This is a great little setting powder from the drugstore. It really helps to keep your makeup in place. So now I'm going to do a bit more blending, and I'm actually going to go in with a slightly fluffier brush. This is the brush from my Smashbox Full Exposure palette, the first palette that they came out with from that line. I'm just going to start blending that lower lash line out a bit more. Now, even though I liked a really matte finish foundation on my face, I had to have some kind of sparkle or shimmer or glitteriness going on somewhere. I would either include it with a glittery type eyeliner, or I would have had even like little rhinestones. So I tend to, if I did a liquid eyeliner, which I'm not necessarily very good at, but I would always do patterns like hearts and stars and crosses just on the outside of my eyes and little dots, and then I would use like rhinestones to decorate as well when I was a teenager. Or I would go for a shimmery style blush, not super shimmery, but just something to give a nice sheen to my cheeks. And as I'm not going to use a highlighter today because I did not use highlighter back then, I've gone for this gorgeous glow blush block. Like, it's almost like one of those shimmer brick style blushes, but you just swirl your brush around in all of the colours, and it just gives you a really beautiful shimmery cheek. So that's what I'm going for today. And I always applied blush when I was younger because if not I would look dead. Although, to be honest, everyone thought I looked dead anyway because I was gothed up all the time. So I'm just using a Real Techniques blush brush to apply this. I'm just very lightly patting it on and then kind of making strokes backwards. I picked this blush up at Superdrug and it cost £3, I believe, which is a bargain. That's why I love Collection. It's one of the brands, them and Barry M, the brands that I've used since I was a teenager, so I kind of thought that it would be appropriate to use something from Collection for this look. Can you just see the nice shimmery highlight that this blush gives you? So it's really, really nice. It just makes my face look a little less flat, so that's why I like using that. And it's not like really glittery, there's no chunky glitters in it or anything, it's just a really nice sheen. I love this blush, and this is new for their summer collection, so if you haven't checked these out, check them out. There's a bronzer as well, although I don't know, I think the bronzer, I struggle with bronzers because I'm so pale. I mean, the recommendations for this is to apply it to your nose, hairline and cheekbones, but I'm far too pale for that because it's got too much colour and I will just look like I have a really pink and gold face. So I'm sticking to my cheeks today. The lips, I really liked mixing lip colours, especially things like black and blue to make that kind of futuristic bluey greyish silver colour that I thought was really cool at the time. But I used to really like mixing lip colours, and that's what I'm going to do today because the lip colour that I want I don't actually have in my collection, so I'm going to make it up. I'm going to mix. So I'm using my Rimmel Provocalips and I'm using the one in Skinny Dipping and in Kiss Fatal. So Skinny Dipping is like a nudish brownish shade, but it's too light for the kind of brown lipstick that I want. I want to go for that 90s brown vibe. And Kiss Fatal is slightly leans too much towards the purpley reddish side. So I'm going to apply them both and it should come up with the colour that I want. And you could totally leave it at this if you want to go for a more subtle lip.
Ooh, grungy, I like it.
Well, I didn't tell him what I was doing today, so that obviously means that I'm hopefully achieving what I set out to do, which was a grungy, messy look. So I'm just going to apply Kiss Fatal on top of this. Not a huge ton, I'm kind of going to dab it. And then I take my finger and had it on top. A very gradually build that colour I want. It's really hard to talk when doing this. Cool, so that is the kind of lip colour that you get when you mix together Skinny Dipping and Kiss Fatal. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not going to add the gloss because I want it to be a matte lip. And this is the finished look. And here it is with the lip colour as well. Anyway guys, I hope you have enjoyed this look inspired by my late 90s, early 2000s self. And it's a look that I continue to wear to this day, even though they told me back then it was just a phase, and clearly it's not. I'm still dyeing my hair, getting tattoos and wearing crazy coloured lipsticks, so I really, really hope you liked this. I personally loved the way it turned out. I love Max Blue Brown. If you haven't checked it out, go and swatch it because look at it, it's just so beautiful. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed watching this and I shall see you in my next video. Bye.
Hello, my lovely.
I'm filming.
Okay.
How are you?
Oh, fucked.
Awesome. Can you collect this creature because she's just howling all over my video?
Stop howling all over the video.